this case, Season 2, Episode 28, The 7 Habits, Part 2. The beginnings of the semester, a time of new beginnings. That's what I love about teaching. You know, everything starts again after 4 months. There's always a break attached. And the break gives you time to not only rest after a semester, which a lot of people do, but it gives you time to evaluate what you want out of the semester before it starts again. I don't know if everybody does that. In Stephen Covey's book, he nails that in Habit 3. And I'm going out of order from the book. You know, forgive me. And let me digress here. I don't think you always have to do things in order. Okay, that's my personal philosophy, which will likely have some detractors. I don't always start a book, a novel, a film, an article. I don't always start it at the beginning. Sometimes the start doesn't interest me, and I'll come in the middle of the movie, or I'll pick up the book in the middle, and I'll go just mess around with it then. And I don't think you have to do everything from start to finish. That's just me. Okay, back to Covey. He begins his Principles of Personal Management chapter, that's Habit 3, with a quote from Goethe. And Goethe, for those not familiar, the great German Enlightenment philosopher and writer. And I quote, "Things which matter most must never be at the mercy of things which matter least." You've got to put the important things first. First things first is how Covey puts it. And for us, if being a better bass player is one of those things that matter most, then it must never be at the mercy of the things which matter least, you know, like your emails, my emails. Several years ago at the school I teach at, we had a first week back convocation, and they showed us a quick 5-minute video. It was based on this episode about putting the first things first chapter of Covey's book. And it was one of those short videos, and the guy in the video had a big bowl, and he was supposed to fit a bunch of stones and a container of sand into this big bowl. And the stones represented the important things, and sand represented the unimportant. And he poured the sand into the bowl. Then he tried putting the rocks in the bowl, and it didn't work. Not enough room. He emptied it out. Then he put the important things in first, the rocks, and then poured the sand in, and the sand covered some of the rocks, but mostly fell into the crevices. And as hokey as that demonstration might sound, via me explaining it, the video brought it home for me. And in the book, he brings it home with one phrase: organize and execute around priorities. And I love what he wrote about this. And considering that he was writing this for business cats, right? Your management types, your CEO types. He wrote about the 4 generations of time management. He even brought in Alvin Toffler into the mix. And this is a book my dad had, Future Shock, you know, that was written, I think, in 1970, maybe in the late 60s, that was explaining how the world was going to change like now. And Alvin nailed a lot of it. But Covey referred to those 4 generations as waves, the way Toffler does. And he got me when I read this, because I have gone through those waves and generations of time management. First waves, notes and checklists. I still do this for all aspects of my life, but it's more for my daily and weekly non-pressing aspects of my life. You know, email this guy, pick up the dry cleaning, wash the vehicles. You know, I want to get this stuff done today or this weekend or this week. And then that second wave, calendars, right? You know, some people call them planners. It's an attempt to look ahead and schedule events in the future. and I still do this. There's nothing wrong with these waves. You just can't expect them to do everything for you. And I still use a calendar, concert on March 3rd, juries on May 5th, 6th, 7th, exactly. Third wave. This one's better. You're prioritizing activities along with setting goals. The third wave has daily planning in there. And making a plan to accomplish those goals determined to be of greatest worth. And yeah, I do that too, and it's helpful. But it creates a type of efficient scheduling that precludes us from being human. It's controlling the time that inhibits us as humans. I'm in the hallway about to go to the copy, or a chance for a conversation with a friend or colleague comes up. I can't do it. I'm on a schedule. I got to get my to-do list done. I can't talk right now. It's a beautiful day out, and I want to sit and think for a while, but I got my schedule to follow. And as Covey points out, because of this, people get turned off by time management programs, and they walk off and revert back to lists and monthly planners. But it's that fourth wave is where Covey really brings it home. And he says, quote, don't manage time, but manage yourself. Basically, preserve and enhance relationships and accomplish results. Now, this is important to us as musicians. We want results, right? We have concepts on our instrument we want to improve on. I want to walk faster. I want to solo over giant steps faster, right? I want to have my intonation, my walking, my solo, my fast tempos. I want to have that together. Other stuff, whatever your choice is. Now, this isn't, I want to have the time and determination to practice every day. No, I want to advance my playing on the Eccles movement too. I'm just using concepts my students are dealing with. I want to walk F blues without staring at the sheet of chord changes. Whatever you're wanting results on, that's what you have to focus on. And that should be at the priority, if that's what your priority is as a person, being a better bass player. And that doesn't mean it has to be your only priority, but you have to be thinking about that. But the tendency is to do what he calls he breaks these into quadrants, and one of the other quadrants is doing things that feel good. Checking your emails when you're not really expecting an email, looking at your phone, checking out every message somebody has sent you, even though none of them are important or emergencies. Now, he gets into it, enhancing relationships. Now, this is important, and I'll get to that in the next episode. But he breaks down those time management matrix into 4 squares, those quadrants. And those are broken into 2, important and unimportant. Urgent matters, I'll quote, they're usually visible, they press on us, they're often popular with others and right in front of us. Pleasant, easy, and fun to do, but so often unimportant. Your phone. And keep in mind, Covey wrote this before cell phones became an appendage to most humans walking the planet. The important stuff has to do with results. Quote, it contributes to your mission. What's your mission? I want to become a better bass player. I want to be able to walk changes over F blues better, whatever it is. But we react to those, quote, urgent matters. The text ping or vibration, the constant checking your phone to look at emails. Important matters that are not urgent. Practicing bass, that requires thought and planning. One more quote. If we don't have a clear idea of what is important, of the results we desire in our lives, we're diverted into responding to the urgent. If we don't have a clear idea of what we want to do, then we just keep checking our emails. Or in my words, if we don't have a results-oriented move like walking over F blues at 250, we're going to keep looking at our phone. Now, I wanted to put this chapter into 2 parts, so like Vincent Vega said, to be continued. If you have questions, email me at phil@basecase.co. I'll talk to you soon.